Hello and welcome to another episode of Peru Size on a Knife Edge podcast. Today we've travelled to the beautiful fishing port of Padstow in Cornwall to meet with the queen of seafood cuisine, Jill Stein. So I'm just really intrigued as to how the seafood restaurant began.
Well, it didn't start as a restaurant. It started in the 70s, 50 years ago actually. Rick and I and we had a partner and we bought a nightclub in Padstow, which was Rick ran a mobile disco. Well, we ran it together actually. We used to do it in the summer holidays, and we thought this would be a great venue to put the Purple Tiger. It was called
Tiger.
The Purple Tiger.
That's a powerful
name. That was one of the reasons we bought the property. It was a late night drinking club. We had a license till 2:00, so we had to serve a meal to get over the license. But unfortunately, a lot of the Padstow fishermen used to frequent the nightclub, which was good. They had a great time, but there were a lot of fights, as you can imagine, because 2:00 drinking till 2:00. And so eventually, to cut a long story short, we got closed down by the police for allowing non-members in, which was the best thing that happened to us, because then out of the ashes of the nightclub came the seafood restaurant. So that's how it happened in a nutshell. Wow. So Rick and I decided we had to get serious if we got the property. So we thought, we talked amongst ourselves and thought that there was no, seeing as we were by the coast in Cornwall, there weren't a lot of seafood restaurants at that particular time. So we thought it would be a good idea to open a seafood restaurant.
What were some of the challenges in the early stages of setting up?
Well, I mean, the challenges were that we didn't have very many customers because there weren't any people. I mean, it's very difficult to explain what Padstow was like in the 70s to what it's like today. So we did everything ourselves. I mean, Rick went to get some knife skills, went to Cornwall College on a day release course. Yeah, because he didn't, we didn't know how to cook. We weren't in hospitality. We were just fumbling around in the dark.
No way.
Yes. So he went on a day release course down to Camborne, and then we started to get serious about the business. Of course, we had to then. So before that time, we were just sort of playing around at it. So we started to get a little bit more professional. So we split up with our partner. We took the downstairs part of the building, turned it into the seafood restaurant, and then eventually we bought our partner out and opened bedrooms upstairs. And we've got more now because over the years we've expanded the accommodation because it was a good source of revenue, not quite as hard work as the restaurant itself. And I still say to anybody starting up in a restaurant business, get some bedrooms, get some accommodation.
Just so, like you said, you've got an additional...
Well, it's an addition and it's a good source of revenue because as long as you've got somebody to clean the bedrooms and you do them and make them lovely, then it's very important part of the business.
How did you start putting the kitchens and everything together? Did you have anything in there ready?
We didn't have any money at all, no money at all. So we decided, or Rick decided there was a publication called The Exchange and Mart, which was a magazine. Of course, everything's online today. So this was, and in the Exchange and Mart, he would look to see where all the equipment was being pulled out of old hospitals and hotels. So he would go up to London, look at the oven and get it sent down. So it was all second hand. Everything was second hand.
I think you've kind of got to start somewhere, haven't you?
Yeah,
Definitely.
So we started there. Well, we didn't have the money to do a proper kitchen. I mean, it's so hard for people to understand this, so it was really hand to mouth. Yeah. So we had second-hand equipment. Of course, eventually, as we moved on, then of course the equipment was new and we could properly design the kitchen. But in the early days, the start of it was pretty second rate, really.
Yeah. And I assume you're doing 7 days a week or just...
We did 7 days a week. That was really hard. And it wasn't easy, and it's very interesting because the 50th anniversary book that's just come out, that shows you how it used to be, and it's very hard to explain to people. They think, oh, they're this big company and they're this and they're that, but really in the early days Rick and I struggled, and it was real hand to mouth. So we were laying the foundations of what we've got today.
I think that's it, isn't it? In the early stages, you've got to push, adapt, and you just
had to work. I mean, we didn't have many staff. There was just Rick and I. I was front of house, he was the kitchen. We had a couple of helpers, and we used to close in the early days in September because there was no business after that. And then as we got more popular and we got more staff, long-term staff that we were employing all year round, then we extended the season, and it was quite organic, really. Let's put it that way.
Was there anything that took the business from being kind of like here, just
I think TV,
on to them? Did that really kick it off?
Yeah, we won an award, the RAC award, which really started us off. I think we were beginning to get recognised. In the early days, the journalists weren't that interested in coming to Cornwall. It was like
because we weren't.
Cornwall is cool now. It's completely different. They would sort of, they wouldn't really be that interested in coming down and doing an interview with us. They got more interested as Rick got on TV. So once the TV set off, that was the beginning of how we became more and more popular.
So you've then definitely noticed the whole scene in Cornwall change dramatically over the years.
I mean, there was nowhere to eat. There was nothing. It was the wild frontier, I used to call it. It's completely changed. It's now a cool foodie destination, but it hasn't always been so. And I think that Rick and I thought in the beginning, when we were employing all these people, and Nathan Outlaw being one of them, was a young chef that came to us when he was very young, and we knew it would spawn people that would then go on and open their own businesses in Cornwall. So we knew that would happen eventually. I mean, we could never get any local chefs because there was nobody that wanted to come and work for us. So, but now we have so many local Padstonian people, which is music to my ears, because really it's very important to employ local, intelligent, skilled people, and we've got loads now, but we didn't in the early days. No, not at all.
And so I've managed to meet a lot of them, and everyone I've met is so nice and so passionate about food.
They are absolutely, yeah. So that was really important to it. So yes, in the early days it was pretty hand to mouth, but as TV was the beginning of it, really.
Did you, during the quite rough times, because everyone has them, was there anything that kind of kept you going? Did you have an end goal in mind?
God knows what it was. It was just that we had to survive, and we had to make a success of it. Yes, because we'd put so much into it, physically and also mentally as well, that we had to survive. And I think that once Rick got on TV, and those first television programmes, the first Fruits of the Sea, Taste of the Sea, were amazing. And I've looked back over them quite recently. They've been on iPlayer. It put Cornwall on the map, really.
By the sounds of it, really
brought Cornwall to the wider audience. So I think those first two programmes were vitally important to what happened in Cornwall on the food scene.
It's amazing. I had no idea that it had such an impact on.
I think it definitely had, and I think that people, young families, young chefs that wanted to maybe have a better lifestyle, came to Cornwall, and also then of course there's a lot of Cornish chefs as well, So the food scene here is amazing now.
Was there a point during 50 years of running the restaurant? Was there a point that you would say was like the golden years of, I guess, hospitality down?
Well, I think the golden years were shortly after the first, the Fruits of the Sea and Taste of the Sea, because I remember the first programme going out, and ran the restaurant, and me and my sidekick, as soon as the programme finished, the phone never stopped ringing. The phone was off the hook, and we kept picking, because we used to do all the reservations in the restaurant at that time, and people kept saying, is he really like that, you know? And the amount of people that rang that evening after they'd seen this programme was amazing.
How did you
deal with it?
Yeah, how did you deal with it?
It was very hard, because you know, Rick found TV, and then of course then he had to go away and make the programmes, and it sort of took him out of the kitchen a bit, and I don't think he liked it to start with, because it was his place, but he got used to the fact that he had to put other people in charge, and they did the cooking, and while he was out filming, you know, it was quite quite hard, and they used to do a lot of the filming in our home kitchen at home, and all the sort of cookery bits, and that was quite hard, and I had little children at the time. Jack was only small, so I couldn't even cook for them when they were on holidays, because they were doing this filming day after day after day, and I said, look, we can't do this, this is encroaching on my life at home, and so I said, why don't we take the space, we had the space down here as where we kept, it was like a fish store, and upstairs there was a space which was the cookery school. I said, so why don't we do that, so that all the filming was done in here then, so I got them out of my house.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is that how then the cookery school
Yeah,
started?
yeah. Yes.
Oh. And then with the last few years, it's been quite difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, very tough.
Is there a certain way you see, like, hospitality going, or any new
I can't
directions?
see where it will be going. I think there'll be less of it, I think, but whether that will come back and whether it's just a moment in time, but it seems to be, the time seems to be, you know, it's very tough running businesses in hospitality today, as everybody knows. You know, it's the cost of living crisis, people haven't got that money that they want to spend. And also it's, you know, the cost of running a business is just, the cost is outweighing the profit.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard, but whether that will get better is anybody's question. I don't know. So I think the thing is, what you've got to do is just sort of try and get better profits by, you know, reducing the cost of the menu, really, trying to get cheaper things on the menu so people can still come and eat out.
Yeah, without
rather than keep putting the prices up. So it's a juggling act. It's difficult.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
I spoke to a few people in the industry, and so far all I've heard, like everyone's saying, is we just got to hold on and just hopefully wait for this wave to
that's exactly what you do. You've got to cut your costs. You know, that is a big thing that we're doing in the company at the moment, is our eyes are on, you know, trying to get the menus out for a lot less money, and so it's hard. It's really hard. So maybe it's a moment in time, maybe it will change in a couple of years' time, I don't know. I mean, if I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yeah. You'd be somewhere with the lottery winnings. Yeah. And then during those 50 years, have you had any, like, almost life lessons you've learnt?
Life lessons? Well, every day's a life lesson. I mean, I think as you get older, you sort of slightly a bit more jaundiced view on life. You know, when you're young, you just get in there and you do it, don't you? You don't ask any questions. But I think running a business is a big life lesson. But so far, so good. You know, it's been, we got big enough so that Rick and I could take a bit of a back seat. We've got our children now coming into the business, our sons. Won't call them children because they get really cross when we call them children. Ed and Jack and Charlie, and they're taking over the reins. And but I can't see that I'll ever retire as such, because I'm still very interested in my business, and also it's my life, really.
Because in a way it's your baby, isn't it?
Well, it's my baby, but it doesn't grow up. You know, the children,
constantly
the
feeding
boys
it,
have grown up.
Yeah.
But I still get very excited about business. Hospitality is I've been in it for 50 years, and and I don't think there's a lot of women who've been in hospitality for 50 years. I ran the restaurant for over 30 years.
Oh.
Yeah, Rick was in the kitchen, I was front of house. So it's in, you know, it was something that I didn't plan to fall into when I was 27 or 28, but it is my life, and I find hospitality, and I find the people that work in hospitality incredible. You know, we're of the same tribe. You know, when I talk to somebody in hospitality, I might not know that they are, but we talk the same language. There's something
like
about
big family in a way,
yeah,
isn't it?
it is, and we understand each other. Yeah.
I spoke again. This was at Port 11 Food Festival like a couple of weeks ago, last week. It's all a blur. But I spoke to a few people down there who have restaurants, hotels, and they were just saying like at the moment, it always kind of has been in Cornwall, just everyone supporting each other. Like if someone could help someone else.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yes.
It is a community within the hospitality industry.
It is. And I do think, I recognise people in hospitality. I don't know what it is. It's a sort of invisible thing, but we understand each other.
And with the restaurant, is there a direction you're pushing forward in now? Are you changing anything, or? Well,
I think they'll be looking for a younger audience. You know, I mean, has got to come. I mean, that will happen. I mean, we've been here for 50 years, so I mean, some of our customers have been with us all probably for a good 30 years. So because they're a different generation, they will change things, yes. But I think they're pretty careful that they're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. But there'll be little changes, yes.
Not changing it back into a
No. Well, no.
Well, yeah.
No, hopefully not. No, I don't know. I mean, they've just started, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I trust all of them. You know, they've grown up with in hospitality, and with Rick and I running their business, that it's their business. So you know, and they've all got incredibly good taste, and they understand everything. So yeah, I've got great faith in them. Yes.
You had your the 50th anniversary party.
We've had one which was the club night. Yes, the Purple Tiger night. Yeah.
Oh yeah, how was it?
It was good fun actually.
Yeah.
I was a bit nervous about going in because I thought, well, Rick hasn't been on the decks for 50
right.
years. So my son Edward actually does do DJing as well as a sideline.
Okay.
And he's been doing it for years. He does little gigs in and around Cornwall. So he did a set, and also and Rick did, and so it was a great success. Actually, it was great. Actually,
it must have been like a real nostalgia.
I was a little bit thinking, this is my life, you know, going back. I mean, it was different because, of course, the restaurant it's not the old club, but it was very successful and everybody enjoyed it. It was a really good thing to do.
Amazing.
Actually.
How was the next morning?
Oh, it was.
No, yeah, okay.
I don't know. You better ask the customers. I was right. Yeah.
What would you say is your three favourite restaurants in Cornwall?
Well, obviously Nathan's the fish kitchen, and I've got these written down. The St Kew pub, actually, the St Kew Highway pub.
Oh, I've heard some really good things.
Sarah Allen used to work for us, and she's the landlady there, and it's really good. It's great, lovely, beautiful building. Food is amazing, and the other one is Prawn on the Lawn.
Oh, that's just as you come to Padstow,
yes,
isn't it?
that's over here in Padstow, and also the Mariners at Rock, Paul Ainsworth. So yeah, those
really
three.
Good. And again, speaking of the food scene down here, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
There's so many places to go now. Yeah.
And then the list you might have one as well.
Yeah.
Like the restaurant list just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And
which is great.
Oh, what was it that maybe drew you to Padstow?
Well,
to the area?
It was a sliding door moment, I think, because I was born in Yorkshire. Oh. I lived in Stockport, which was quite near to Manchester, and I just needed to get away from the city. And my sister had been to Cornwall the year before, and I thought, you know what, I think I might do the same. Take a job in a small hotel, which was a B&B actually at Trianon, and I came down with a friend, We got on the train, didn't know anything about Cornwall. It was as far away as Manchester as I could get, and took to it like a duck to water. I thought, this is brilliant, you know, because I really like living by the sea. We lived in a caravan. It was we got paid £9 a week because I was on wages. And I met Rick in 1968. And then we split up, and then we got back together eventually. But so I went home back to Stockport, but I needed to get back. So basically, I ended up living down here, and the rest is history. Rick and I got married, and I started to open the club. So that's what drew me. Nothing drew me to Cornwall. It was like it could have been anywhere. Could have been anywhere.
I think there's something so nice about Cornwall. It's just almost good for your soul.
Yeah.
I find any time I go from the city up in London or something, as soon as you get over the bridge to Cornwall, it's like.
Yes.
Oh. And what would you say is your favourite thing about Cornwall?
Well, it's the coast. It's the Atlantic Ocean, really. I mean, I just love it. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
And then to wrap things up, what would you say over the years within the industry and the restaurant has been your happiest moment?
Well, I think getting my OBE, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got a doctorate at Plymouth University, and then I got an OBE. So those are my two proudest moments.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Did you kind of expect the OBE?
No.
Were you just working away and then?
No, not at all.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was.
How did it all happen?
What happened?
Your OBE? Yeah.
Well,
did you just receive a letter and was like?
Yeah, I received a letter to say that I've been awarded an OBE. In fact, it's there. Look.
Oh wow. That's incredible.
So that was my proudest moment, because I didn't ever expect to get anything. Rick got an OBE first, and then I got one a couple of years later. So that would be my proudest moment.
And I have to say, I've never seen an OBE.
No, well there you are,
That's
and
incredible.
it's got Elizabeth's signature on it. Although she didn't award it to me. It was Prince William, actually.
Oh.
So it was a great day.
Do they invite you around for tea now and then, or?
No. So my children were with me, my sons, and I took them in. You're allowed to take 3 people into the palace, so they came with me, which was great.
What was it like in there?
Yeah,
beautiful.
It was amazing. It was a bit of a surreal moment. I always find in something like that, I can't sort of, it doesn't sink in at the time. It's only afterwards you think, God, that was brilliant. Yeah.
And there you are holding your OBE, like,
I know.
I've got an OBE.
I have, yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for
Okay.
coming on. I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah.